This welder is holding in his hands a tool that carries as much electricity as a power line. A simple slip could kill him in an instant, making underwater welding the most dangerous job in the world. But it's also essential to keep bridges standing, oil pipes from leaking, and massive ships from sinking. Here in Indonesia, it's one of the highest paying jobs, earning welders up to $15,000 in just 1 week. And they're in such demand that the government is paying to train certified divers to weld. Still, they often work with minimal protection. So why is there so much need for underwater welders in Indonesia? And does paying these workers well actually make up for the risks? Suhendra is preparing to leave on a 4-month assignment. Long trips are part of his job, but this goodbye feels harder than usual.
Pekan lalu istri saya baru saja meninggal. Jangan nakal kamu ya, jangan ganggu adikmu dulu. Ya. Nanti kalau kangen telepon ayah saya.
Ganas, saling ganas.
Suhendra has 4 children. Now he's leaving his 14-year-old son Yusuf in charge.
Kangen jelas. Ya telepon sama ayah. Khawatir banget, karena tuh kan di laut banyak hewan buas ya, yang kayak hiu atau yang lainnya. Hati-hati ya. Ya. Kayak gitu kan, karena ya kerjaan sekali dalam sebulan bisa lah kita menghidupi beberapa bulan kita di rumah lah gitu kan. Pelan-pelan aja.
Today, he'll be diving in the Indian Ocean by an industrial zone on the coast of Cilegon. He'll be working below a pier that's still under construction, about 1.5 miles from shore. His job is to attach a white box called a sacrificial anode to the iron pillars. The anode is made from a more reactive metal, usually zinc or aluminum. It will rest in place of the column, saving the main structure. The anode has to be replaced every 5 years. There are 900 pillars here, and Suhendra's company is responsible for 471 of them. Suhendra will dive with his mentee, 27-year-old Rangga Ahmed Maulana.
Kalau gugup, khawatir mungkin di hal yang baru, lokasi kerja baru, habit baru gitu.
Diving raises blood pressure, so they need to check their vitals. Still, there's only so much they can prepare for.
Ketika itu ada bahaya gitu kan, ya saya kepikiran anak istri bagaimana kan gitu kan.
This crew sets up the air compressor that will pump oxygen to Suhendra and Rangga. Today, they'll go down with a simple cap and goggles.
Jadi kita anggap sajalah kita ini bertamu ke rumah orang gitu. Kalau nggak permisi gitu kan, jadinya celaka sendiri bagi kita.
Instead of carrying a tank on their backs, the men breathe through this blue tube called an umbilical. It's the only thing tying them to the boat.
Itu biasa terjadi ketika kita kerja tuh di area pelabuhan gitu, area pelabuhan yang keruh-keruh ya. Itu keruh sekali. Jadi ketika kita masuk ke dalam, kalau kita tidak bawa downline atau navigasi khusus ya, itu kita sangat mungkin tersesat.
The anode is lowered with the help of a rope. Suhendra and Rangga communicate mostly through hand gestures while finding the right spot on the column.
Kita bersihkan area yang mau kita las. Kita bersihkan dari bernekel-bernekel atau penghalang ya gitu.
After about 15 minutes, they strap it to the pillar and start welding. This is where the real danger begins.
Kalau takut sih dari awal sudah takut karena memang bahaya bermain listrik di dalam air.
The water significantly increases the chances of a lethal electric shock. The rod is charged negatively, and the anode is positive. So electricity will naturally flow from one to the other to complete a circuit. But you need a lot of electricity to melt the rod and attach the box to the pillar. The heat forms gas bubbles that act as shields, stopping the electric current from escaping. If they touch the tip of the welding gun, they'd die in an instant. A shaky hand could cause an accident, and it can be hard to keep a steady grip.
Saya pernah itu arus berputar, saya pernah kena gitu, kelempar. Saya pernah juga terhimpit ketarik arus yang sangat kuat sekali, sering juga.
They wear only 2 sets of gloves and a standard wetsuit. In the US, divers use a lot more protection, but they're still about 40 times more likely to die on the job than the average worker, making this the deadliest job out there. Rangga has been shocked before, but he was lucky he didn't become unconscious.
Mungkin terkejut aja, jadi nggak sampai impact-nya nggak sampai membuat.
Ya dia selalu kasih wanti-wanti lah, artinya wejengan-wejengan biar kita selalu waspada terus untuk kerja di dalam air itu. Karena resiko bisa datang kapanpun dan bisa mengintai.
It takes the divers an hour and a half to attach one anode. They swim up every time they finish one. Pressure at this depth is about twice what it is on the surface. If they go up too fast, nitrogen in their body forms bubbles and blocks blood flow to important organs like the brain or the heart.
Nah itu yang bisa bahaya juga, bisa menyebabkan dekompresi atau kelumpuhan.
Suhendra visits a decompression chamber every 3 months.
Itu ruangan itu dikasih kompresi tekanan sehingga nanti gelembung-gelembung nitrogen yang tersedia dalam tubuh kita bisa keluar.
The diving has already taken a toll on Rangga.
Sering-sering kita itu pusing, mendadak. Yang paling sering itu kalau memang kondisi pilek menyelam itu bisa sampai keluar darah dari hidung.
The pier they're working on will eventually connect ships carrying crude oil to this brand new $39 billion petrochemical plant that will turn it into plastic. It's part of a big investment push Indonesia is making in the oil industry. The government has offered certain companies up to 100% tax reduction for a decade. They are to build 22 new petrochemical plants by 2025. And this is a business that's expanding across the world. Reports project that by 2050, petrochemicals will account for nearly half of the growth in global oil demand.
We're seeing a huge rush to build additional capacity to produce ever more plastics. And this is not an accident, but it is the plan of the oil and gas industry to continue to monetize as much of a barrel of oil as the industry can.
In the US, petrochemical plants have been the source of major controversy because they emit toxic chemicals that are known carcinogens.
We see enormous releases of toxic pollution.
Human rights organizations have called the areas near the petrochemical plants sacrifice zones. They also pollute waterways. Tiny pellets called nurdles easily slip into drains at factories, or sometimes spill out of cargo containers during transport. And they end up killing the fish and birds that eat them. Indonesia is already the fourth most polluted country in the world. Landfills are at capacity. Today, nearly the entire population lives in areas where air pollution exceeds the WHO's safe air standards. That's shortening Indonesians' lifespans by about 1.5 years. The country has launched laws to cap greenhouse gas emissions. But reports indicate those are rarely enforced. Now, experts fear that building petrochemical plants will create more problems.
So the plastics industry has done a good job of convincing the public that the plastics crisis is one of consumer behavior, that the problem is litter, and that couldn't be further from the truth.
The government has promised the investments will create thousands of jobs. And in a country where 25 million people live under the poverty line, surveys have found that many here are more concerned with economic prosperity than with environmental issues.
Saya rasa cuman saya niat kerja gitu, saya niat mencari rezeki, kemudian saya juga bersahabat dengan alam, jadi alam tahulah mana yang terbaik buat kita gitu.
Yes!
The crew is done for the day, but it will take them another 4 months to finish all the pillars. The construction phase alone has employed 13,000 workers so far. Once this plant is completed, it will need 1,000 workers to keep it running.
Saya anggap sih begitu karena memang pekerjaan saya ini hampir jarang orang itu menekuni pekerjaan ini.
Suhendra is looking forward to seeing his children again soon. He says his son wants to do the same work one day. But Suhendra worries that these waters might be too polluted by the time he grows up.
Jadi dulu kakek saya pernah cerita, kita nangkap ikan aja, kita lempar aja ikan sudah dapat kan gitu kan. Coba kita lihat, kita harus agak menjauh dulu untuk cari ikan. Itu tandanya apa? Artinya ekosistem laut kita yang sudah dekat-dekat sudah tidak baik kan gitu kan. Jadi gimana ya, jadi laut itu harus kita jaga lah, harus kita jaga bersama. Jadi laut itu bukan tempat sampah juga. Artinya ketika kita bisa menjaga laut, artinya nanti laut ini bisa dinikmati oleh anak cucu kita. Kalau seandainya kita